The legendary podcaster Joe Rogan defended his right to speak his mind on his podcast. Coming up next on TechShark. Welcome to TechShark, bite-sized news for conservatives surfing the net. So Joe Rogan, host of the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, slammed recent cancel culture witch hunts against his show in a podcast episode.
This is a political hit job. And so they're taking all this stuff that I've ever said that's wrong and smushing it all together. Right. You should apologize if you regret something.
Yes.
This idea that you should never apologize.
Yes.
Like if you regret something, I don't think there's anything wrong with apologizing. But I do think you have to be very careful to not apologize for nonsense.
Correct.
And people that will attack people all the time. And they want to like cancel a person because they think that that person is foul, or they want to be able to do it because it is kind of a game. Like if you can cancel someone and you get them in trouble, there's a lot of people that like go dig up old things that you said.
Rogan also reportedly poked fun at recent cancellation attempts during a stand-up routine. The Hollywood Reporter wrote that Rogan mocked cancel culture campaigns against his use of Spotify at a stand-up comedy performance in Austin, Texas, saying, quote, "If you want my advice, don't take my advice," end quote. The Hollywood Reporter recounted that Rogan slammed both pearl-clutching liberals and big tech when he suggested regarding people's use of the N-word, quote, "It's kind of weird people will get really mad if you use that word and tweet about it on a phone that's made by slaves," end quote. Rogan also appears to be standing by Spotify and honoring his contract. During a question and answer portion with fans after the show, Rogan was asked if he would accept the $100 million offer from Rumble to move his show from Spotify to the right-wing platform. The Hollywood Reporter explained, the comedian said he was planning to stick with the streamer. "No, Spotify has hung in with me inexplicably. Let's see what happens." Now here's the shark bite. I genuinely think Joe Rogan's presence online is one of the key battlefields, not just for American free speech, but for freedom in everyday life. Because he's basically the incarnation of every dad with a beer at the grill with his buds bantering, and every late night chat with college friends in your dorm. So in the last 10 years, before Trump was even in office and the media went crazy over it, we witnessed the death of normalcy. The death of common cultural figures we all could unite around. I've mentioned the slippery slope before about how the left went from canceling Confederate generals to canceling J.K. Rowling in like 5 years. But more recently, I noticed another major watershed moment when singer Adele faced backlash for saying she loves being a woman. It made me realize how in early 2014, when women's issues and feminism were at the core of our culture wars, that truly feels like another world. Our culture wars now, in the Biden era, are like this rock, paper, scissors Mexican standoff between accusations of transphobia, anti-Semitism, and anti-black racism. For people like Rogan, the powers that be that want him canceled are likely to keep cycling through those, or so-called COVID-19 misinfo accusations in the hopes that something sticks and gets him deplatformed and canceled. Long before these controversies, Rogan was met with massive pushback from Spotify workers, much like how comedian Dave Chappelle has met with massive pushback from Netflix workers, both for questioning transgender dogma. Big tech is in this weird bind where the upper middle class who goes into big tech are overwhelmingly far-left radicals. But in order to run a business in the center-left corporate world, all those types up top need to keep content that appeals to the American majority. The far left keeps getting crazier, but the American middle still wants people who tell it like it is, just like they've always wanted. That's why the way in which Rogan communicates matters so much. He may not be perfect, and nobody is, but he's one of the few remaining that's willing to have a normal conversation in the public sphere. Thanks for watching TechShark, brought to you by MRC-TV and Free Speech America. Have a good week.